Welcome, friends, to a journey into the heart of human experience. A journey guided by the timeless wisdom of Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha. For over 2,500 years, his teachings have offered solace, understanding, and a path to liberation from the very struggles that define our existence. Today we embark on a quest to explore the Four Noble Truths. These truths, my friends, are not mere religious doctrines. They are profound insights into the nature of life itself, a reflection of the human condition that transcends time, culture, and belief. Whether you come seeking spiritual enlightenment or a deeper understanding of your own mind, the wisdom of the Buddha invites us all to look inward and discover the truth within. The first noble truth, my friends, is perhaps the most readily apparent: dukkha, the truth of suffering. Now, when we speak of suffering, we're not just talking about the big things, the tragedies that befall us. We're talking about the subtle, everyday experiences of unease, dissatisfaction, and impermanence that color our lives. Think about it: the ache in your back after a long day, the sting of a harsh word, the fleeting nature of pleasure, even the quiet yearning for something more. These are all facets of dukkha. It's a truth that binds us all, a common thread woven through the tapestry of human experience, reminding us that life, as we know it, is inherently imperfect. The Buddha taught that suffering takes on many forms. There's the obvious pain of physical illness, the heartbreak of loss and separation, the fear of death that lingers in the shadows. But dukkha also reveals itself in subtler ways, in the frustration of unmet desires, the clinging to fleeting pleasures, the constant striving for something more, something different. It's the feeling of never quite being content, of always searching for something outside ourselves to fill a void within. Recognizing these subtle forms of suffering, my friends, is crucial, for it is in acknowledging the presence of dukkha that we can begin to understand its root cause. At the very core of suffering lies the truth of impermanence. Everything in this world, from the smallest grain of sand to the vast expanse of the cosmos, is in a constant state of flux. Our bodies age, our relationships change, our emotions ebb and flow like the tide. Nothing remains static, nothing lasts forever, and yet we humans have this innate tendency to cling, to hold on to things as if they were permanent, unchanging. We crave security, stability, and permanence in a world that is inherently impermanent. This, my friends, is a recipe for suffering. The Buddha's teachings on dukkha are not meant to discourage us or to paint a bleak picture of existence. Instead, they serve as a wake-up call, a reminder to face the reality of our situation with courage and honesty. By acknowledging the truth of suffering, we begin to loosen its grip on us. We develop a sense of clarity and acceptance, recognizing that suffering is not something to be feared or avoided, but rather something to be understood and transcended. Now that we've confronted the reality of dukkha, the second noble truth leads us to examine its origins. This, my friends, is Samudaya, the truth of the cause of suffering. The Buddha taught that the root of our suffering lies not in the external world, but within ourselves, in our own minds. It is our clinging, our craving, our insatiable thirst for things to be different than they are that binds us to the cycle of dukkha. This craving, this clinging, takes on many forms: the desire for pleasure, the aversion to pain, the thirst for recognition, the fear of loss. At the heart of our craving lies a fundamental misperception, the illusion of a separate, independent self. We cling to this idea of me and mine, believing that our happiness and fulfillment depend on external circumstances and possessions. But the Buddha taught that this sense of self is an illusion, a construction of the mind. It is this illusion that fuels our desires and attachments, leading us on an endless chase for something that can never truly satisfy. We seek permanence in a world of impermanence, control in a universe of constant change, and when our desires are thwarted, as they inevitably will be, we experience disappointment, frustration, and suffering. Think of it like this. Imagine a beautiful butterfly, its wings delicately painted with vibrant colors. Now imagine trying to capture that butterfly, to possess its beauty for yourself. You might succeed in trapping it for a short time, but in doing so, you would inevitably crush its delicate wings, destroying the very beauty you sought to possess. This, my friends, is the nature of attachment. It is a double-edged sword promising happiness while ultimately leading to pain. We become so attached to things, to people, to ideas that we lose sight of their impermanent nature. And when those things inevitably change or disappear from our lives, as they are bound to do, we experience suffering. The second noble truth, Samudaya, is not meant to make us feel guilty or ashamed of our desires. We are, after all, human beings, hardwired for connection, for pleasure, for a sense of belonging. Rather, this truth encourages us to observe our own minds, to become aware of the patterns of craving and aversion that drive our thoughts, words, and actions. By understanding the root cause of our suffering, we take the first step towards freeing ourselves from its grip. We've confronted the truth of suffering, the truth of its cause. Suffering, as we know, is an intrinsic part of the human experience. It manifests in countless ways, from physical pain to emotional turmoil, from the loss of loved ones to the existential dread that sometimes grips our hearts. But understanding its cause is the first step towards addressing it. But is suffering a relentless tide, destined to wash over us forever? Are we to be forever caught in its unyielding grip like the waves that ceaselessly crash against the shore? Or is there a way to rise above it, to find a sanctuary where the storm cannot reach us? Buddha offers a different vision, a glimmer of hope in the darkness. He presents a path that leads away from the shadows of suffering towards the light of understanding and peace. This path is not an easy one, but it is a journey worth undertaking. He calls it Nirodha, the cessation of suffering. Nirodha is not just the absence of pain, but a profound state of being where the roots of suffering are completely eradicated. It is a state of liberation, where the mind is free from the chains that bind it to the cycle of pain and pleasure. Imagine a life free from the weight of craving, from the chains of attachment, a life where the mind is at peace, untroubled by the incessant desires that usually drive us. This is not a life devoid of joy, but one where joy is experienced in its purest form, untainted by the fear of loss or the pain of unfulfilled desires. This isn't about escaping into a void of nothingness. It's about awakening to a reality that is more vibrant and fulfilling than anything we have ever known, a reality where we are fully present, fully alive, and fully at peace. Nirodha is about awakening to a reality that transcends the cycle of suffering. It is about seeing the world with new eyes, eyes that are no longer clouded by ignorance and delusion. It is about experiencing life in its fullest, most authentic form. It's about experiencing true peace, a deep and abiding contentment that doesn't depend on external conditions. This peace is not something that can be given or taken away by the circumstances of life. It is a peace that comes from within, from a mind that is free from the turmoil of desires and aversions. This state of liberation, often referred to as nirvana, isn't some distant paradise reserved for a select few. It is a state of being that is accessible to all of us here and now. It is not about escaping from the world, but about engaging with it in a way that is free from the distortions of craving and aversion. Buddha taught that nirvana is attainable here and now, in this very life. It is not a reward to be earned in some distant future, but a reality that can be realized in the present moment. It is about transforming our relationship with the world and with ourselves. But how do we reach such a state? How do we walk this path that leads to the end of suffering? The journey begins with understanding, with seeing things as they truly are. It requires a deep and honest examination of our own minds and a willingness to let go of the illusions that keep us trapped in suffering. How do we extinguish the flames of suffering that burn within us? The answer lies in the practice of mindfulness and meditation. By cultivating a mind that is calm and clear, we can begin to see the true nature of our desires and attachments. We can learn to let go of the things that cause us pain and to embrace the things that bring us true happiness. The answer, my friends, lies in understanding that these flames are fueled by our own attachments, our clinging to impermanent things. By recognizing the impermanent nature of all things, we can begin to loosen our grip on them. We can learn to appreciate them for what they are without becoming attached to them. By releasing our grip on these fleeting desires, we create space for true peace to emerge. This peace is not something that can be found outside of ourselves, but something that arises from within. It is a peace that is always present, waiting to be discovered. It's like clearing away the storm clouds to reveal the boundless sky beyond. The sky has always been there, vast and unchanging, but it is only when the clouds are gone that we can see it clearly. In the same way, our true nature is always present, but it is only when we let go of our attachments that we can experience it fully. But this isn't about suppressing our desires or denying the richness of life. It is about experiencing life in a way that is free from the distortions of craving and aversion. It is about embracing the present moment with all its beauty and complexity without becoming attached to it. It's about experiencing them with a new awareness, a detachment that liberates us from their control. This detachment is not a cold indifference, but a warm and compassionate understanding. It is about seeing things as they truly are and responding to them with wisdom and love. Imagine a still pond, its surface undisturbed by the winds of desire. The water is so calm that it mirrors the sky above, reflecting the clouds and the sun's gentle rays. This serene image invites us to pause and breathe deeply, to let go of our worries and simply be present in the moment. This is the image of Nirodha, a state of profound tranquility that arises from within. It is a sanctuary of peace that we can carry with us, no matter where we are or what is happening around us. Whether in the midst of a bustling city or by a tranquil lake, this inner calm remains unshaken. It's not the absence of thoughts or feelings, but rather a deep acceptance of their impermanent nature. Thoughts and emotions come and go like waves on the surface of the pond, but the underlying stillness remains. This acceptance allows us to experience life fully without being overwhelmed by its ups and downs. True peace, the kind that Nirodha offers, isn't dependent on external circumstances. It doesn't matter if we are in a noisy marketplace or on a quiet mountaintop. This peace is a state of mind, a way of being that transcends our surroundings. It's not about having a perfect life, free from challenges or difficulties. Life will always have its storms, its moments of chaos and confusion, but within us there is a place of stillness, a refuge that we can return to again and again. It's about finding a stillness within, a place of refuge that remains unshaken amidst the storms of life. This inner sanctuary is always available to us, no matter what is happening in the world outside. It is a source of strength and resilience. Think of a sturdy mountain, unmoved by the winds and rain. The mountain stands firm, its roots deep in the earth, its peak reaching towards the sky. This is the strength of Nirodha, an inner resilience that allows us to face life's ups and downs with equanimity. That's the strength of Nirodha, an inner resilience that allows us to face life's ups and downs with equanimity. Just as the mountain remains unmoved by the storm, we too can remain centered and calm, no matter what challenges come our way. This peace isn't a passive state of resignation, it is an active engagement with life, a dynamic balance that allows us to navigate the complexities of existence with grace and wisdom. It's an active engagement with life, fueled by wisdom and compassion. This peace inspires us to act, to reach out to others, and to make a positive difference in the world. It's about embracing every moment, not with attachment or aversion, but with a heart open to the ever-changing nature of existence. By doing so, we find a deeper connection to ourselves, to others, and to the world around us. This is the true nature of peace. We may not be enlightened beings, but we've all experienced glimpses of Nirodha in our own lives. Remember that moment of awe when you witnessed the vastness of the ocean, or the feeling of deep connection when you held a loved one's hand? These are fleeting experiences, yes, but they offer a taste of the peace that's possible when we let go of our attachments. These moments whisper to us of a deeper reality, a realm of peace that exists beyond the turmoil of our thoughts and emotions. And the more we cultivate these glimpses, the more we begin to see through the illusion of our suffering. We realize that we are not our thoughts, our emotions, or our experiences. We are something more, something that observes these things come and go without being swept away by their currents. This realization, my friends, is the beginning of true freedom. Nirodha isn't a destination, but a journey. It's a gradual process of letting go, of cultivating wisdom and compassion. It's about training our minds to see the world with clarity and kindness. And like any worthwhile journey, it requires effort, patience, and a willingness to look within. But don't be daunted by the path ahead. Every step we take towards Nirodha, every moment of mindful awareness, brings us closer to the peace we seek. And remember, you're not alone on this journey. The Buddha, along with countless others who have walked this path before us, serve as guides and inspirations. They remind us that liberation is possible, that the end of suffering is within reach. So let us continue to explore this path together with courage and determination, knowing that each step we take brings us closer to the light of Nirodha. We've explored the possibility of liberation from suffering, a beacon of hope called Nirodha. But how do we get there? What path do we take through this complex and often confusing world? Buddha offers us a map, a guide to navigate the terrain of our lives. The Eightfold Path. This isn't a rigid set of rules, but rather a series of interconnected principles, each supporting the other. Imagine it as a wheel, each spoke contributing to its overall strength and balance. The Eightfold Path isn't a detour from life, but a way to engage with it more fully with greater awareness and purpose. It's about aligning our thoughts, words, and actions with wisdom and compassion, creating a life that reflects our deepest values. The path begins with understanding, with seeing the world clearly, free from delusion and harmful patterns. The first two steps on this path are right understanding and right intention. Right understanding isn't about accumulating knowledge, but about developing a deep and intuitive grasp of the Four Noble Truths. It's about seeing the world with clarity, recognizing the impermanent nature of all things, and understanding the causes of suffering. Right intention, my friends, is the compass that guides us. It's about cultivating wholesome motivations, rooted in kindness, compassion, and a desire to be free from greed, hatred, and delusion. It's about aligning our actions with our deepest values, ensuring that every step we take is in the direction of peace and liberation. Imagine a gardener tending to their plants, carefully nurturing their growth. That's right intention in action, cultivating the seeds of wisdom and compassion within ourselves and in the world around us. The next three steps of the Eightfold Path focus on ethical conduct, on living in a way that minimizes harm and promotes well-being for ourselves and others. Right speech encourages us to speak with kindness and truthfulness, to refrain from gossip, lying, and harsh words that can create division and suffering. Imagine the power of our words, the ability to uplift and inspire or to tear down and destroy. Right action calls us to act with integrity and compassion, to avoid harming living beings, stealing, or engaging in harmful sexual conduct. It's about making choices that align with our values, choices that contribute to a more just and compassionate world. Right livelihood encourages us to make a living in a way that doesn't cause harm. It's about using our skills and talents to benefit others, to contribute to the well-being of our communities and the planet. The final three steps of the Eightfold Path focus on mental discipline, which is essential for achieving a balanced and fulfilling life. These steps guide us on training our minds to be more focused, clear, and compassionate, allowing us to navigate the complexities of life with grace and wisdom. Right effort is the foundation of this mental discipline. It involves the commitment to cultivate wholesome qualities and to weaken unwholesome ones. This means consistently choosing actions, thoughts, and behaviors that lead to personal growth and well-being. Right effort is about showing up for ourselves day after day with patience and determination. It's the perseverance to keep going, even when the path is challenging, and the dedication to nurture our inner virtues. Right mindfulness is the next step, and it's about paying attention on purpose to the present moment without judgment. This practice helps us become more aware of our thoughts, feelings, and sensations as they arise, allowing us to respond to life with greater clarity and calmness. By cultivating mindfulness, we learn to observe our inner experiences without being swept away by them. This awareness creates a space for us to make conscious choices, rather than reacting impulsively. Right concentration is the ability to focus our minds, to develop a single-pointedness of attention that allows us to see things with greater clarity and insight. This step involves practices like meditation, which help us train our minds to remain steady and undistracted. Through right concentration, we can deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. It enables us to penetrate through the surface of our experiences and see the underlying truths. These last three steps, my friends, are the path of inner cultivation. They are about training our minds to be more peaceful, focused, and kind. This journey of mental discipline is not just about personal transformation, but also about contributing to a more compassionate and harmonious world. By embracing right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration, we unlock the transformative power of the Eightfold Path. These practices help us realize true liberation, freeing us from the confines of our habitual patterns and opening us to a life of greater freedom and joy. As we walk this path of inner cultivation, we become more attuned to the present moment, more compassionate towards ourselves and others, and more capable of living a life of purpose and fulfillment. Remember, the journey of inner cultivation is a lifelong process. It requires dedication, patience, and a willingness to grow. But with each step we take, we move closer to a state of true peace and enlightenment. So let us embrace this path with an open heart and a determined spirit, knowing that the rewards of inner cultivation are profound and far-reaching. Together, we can create a world that reflects the peace, clarity, and compassion we cultivate within ourselves. These last 3 steps, my friends, are the path of inner cultivation, of training our minds to be more peaceful, focused, and kind. They are the key to unlocking the transformative power of the Eightfold Path and realizing true liberation. The Four Noble Truths, my friends, are more than just ancient teachings. They're a mirror reflecting the realities of life, but they're also a compass guiding us to peace and wisdom. Buddha's message is clear: suffering is inevitable, but it's not permanent. The power to transform our suffering lies within us. It begins with understanding the nature of our suffering, recognizing its causes, and realizing that freedom from suffering is possible. The Eightfold Path isn't a magical cure, but a practical guide, a way to live with greater awareness, purpose, and compassion. It's a journey of self-discovery, of cultivating wisdom, and of realizing our innate potential for peace and liberation. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the Four Noble Truths. If this resonates with you, take a moment today to reflect, breathe, and take one step closer to your inner peace. Until next time, stay mindful.